Hey, I'm Chris Brown, Associate Publisher with Bobbitt Business Media, BBM. I'm here with Sharky Laguana. He's president of ACRA, the American Car Rental Association. He's also the founder and CEO of Bandigo Van Rental. Sharky, welcome.
Hey, awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Sharky shared with me a really funny story. It would be funny if it wasn't so personal to you, about how a van got stolen, and this is all going to turn back around on telematics laws in California. But
Right.
let's start right now with how this van got stolen and how you found out about it.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of Sharky's rental vans.
Yeah. No, we rented a van to a customer. They were supposed to bring it back on April 3rd. They didn't. We marked it as, and they stopped responding to texts and communications, and so we marked it as stolen. And then about a week later, I was at the dentist, and I was driving back to the office from the dentist, and it was right before 5 o'clock. And a van pulled in front of me on the highway. We were on the highway. We were going full speed. And we were both headed back towards the office. And I knew it was one of our vans because we have these very particular plates. And so I called the office. I said, hey, one of our vans is coming back. Don't go home early. I want somebody there to receive the van, because I assumed it was being returned. And they said, okay, well, give us a license plate so we can look up the rental contract and make sure we have everything ready for them. So I read off the license plate to them. I'm, doing this while driving and following them. And as they're looking it up, the van goes right past the exit to our office. And something in me said, keep following the van. So I'm following the van to kind of wait and see. And then they get back on the phone. They said, that's actually our stolen van.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I followed the van all over San Francisco. I tried to get the police to help me. The police wouldn't help me. I went home. I tweeted about it. It blew up. Next morning, there was satellite trucks parked in front of my office. I gave all these interviews. I was on the front page of the paper.
Wow.
It's like a viral, moment, because it also touched into a lot of feelings people had in San Francisco at the time about, crime starting.
Crime and stolen vehicles and everything, yeah.
But there was also a law that was really very much in the way, which is, at the time, rental car companies were not allowed to use GPS tracking.
Yes.
Until a vehicle had been at least 5 days past due.
Okay.
And
so you couldn't turn a system on. You couldn't track someone while they are in the rental vehicle.
Correct.
It's 5 days after you can turn something on. Of course, that vehicle could be long gone by that point.
I mean, we've had cases where we turned it on and it was in Mexico.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it happens all the time.
Yep.
So that wasn't really the issue in this van. We didn't have GPS tracking in this van, so it wasn't. But this is an interesting way of how you turn lemons into lemonade.
Yeah, into legislative action.
In legislative action,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's this big media, firestorm, and I knew, okay, I got 72 hours to make a move.
Yeah.
What can I do that would, make a difference? And I knew about this GPS law. And it wasn't in play for this situation, but I thought I can use this situation to illustrate why that law is bad. And so I found a legislator, and they were, at that point, like every mayoral candidate was calling me, all the local elected officials, all the newspapers were calling me. I was giving interviews all over the place. But so I found a legislator. He said, we'll run forward with a bill on this. And then, through working with ACRA and bringing some of the assets they have to bear, because you need a team to get something like this done. You need to work with other people. You can't just by yourself get it done. You need lots of people to help make calls, to help shore up votes, to talk to people, to explain what the legislation is.
Yeah.
But this all ended up. 8 months later, Governor Brown signed my law.
Wow.
Reducing the number of days that we had to wait.
Yeah.
And it was all because, one, somebody stole our van.
Yeah.
Two, nobody would help us recover the van. And three, I just took this sort of like unrelated issue and turned it into something to illustrate
Sure.
why a different
Sure.
law needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And, we were able to get it done
That's
by
great.
working with other people. And I think that's something I've seen ACRA do many times,
Yeah.
continues to do, and it's something we're trying to flesh out and do even more now.
Well, thank you, Sharky, for really a story of how something that happened that was a detriment to your company essentially turned into legislative action and saw some real change. And just to put a cap on the legislation, now it's 24 hours.
24 hours.
Okay, not 5 days, but 24 hours.
5 days. Yeah, it went from. It took another bit of legislation to get it all the way. First, it was 3 days, and then we had to go back, and it took a while.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, we're a small company.
Yeah.
I've seen so many instances where it's just a small business that gets in and engages.
Yeah.
And legislators are willing to listen because they know you're not a big, huge corporation.
Fair enough.
And they know that it's impacting their local constituents, their local entrepreneurs, their local businesses. And by making that real for them, you create this opportunity for real change. And that is what we're really trying to aggressively turn the volume up on ACRA.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Sharky, thanks so much.
All right, Chris.
Yeah.
Good as always.
Yep.